It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Two great schools here to play our game today, one of which could go on to become the last of this year's Final Four in the elementary competition. Let's meet the schools right now. First from Magnolia, would you say hello to Malcolm Elbert, Abubakar Jallo, and Taylor Johnson. And from Montpelier, here they are, Harris Chaudhry, DJ Pigram, and Nathan Mensa. And now, here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, 25, the toughest question of them all. We start our teams out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds today, one of these two good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance to this year's finals. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Let's go to the red team, to Magnolia. Abubakar, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Malcolm, and to Taylor. And DJ, would you try yours? It too seems to be in fine shape. Good luck to you, to Nathan, and to Harris, and to the little mascot that you've got over there. What is that, DJ?
Our bulldog.
That's your bulldog. All right. We go alphabetically, M-A before M-O. So, Magnolia, you get to start the game. Abubakar, give me a category and a number, please.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 to start us out. Teams, because certain bears' body temperature does not dip very much in the winter while they're sleeping, they undergo something called carnivorous lethargy instead of what? Deeper sleep. Magnolia.
Dormant.
Not dormant. Good try. The deeper sleep that some bears undergo is different from those bears that undergo carnivorous lethargy, where their body temperature stays just about the same.
Hibernation.
Hibernation, yeah, that's when it really drops down and their body processes hardly are functioning at all. Good comeback, go green.
Green things for 10 points.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, most of the foodborne illnesses that we get here in America don't come from bad meat or bad shellfish or dairy, but rather from these kinds of leafy greens. Magnolia, give me an example.
Lettuce. What? Lettuce. Yeah, spinach. Spinach.
Spinach, absolutely. Spinach, lettuce, kale, collards, all of those. Be very careful because they contain bacteria. Wash them carefully. Good answer. Go red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, a multiple choice question. If you have heterochromia, do you have too few red blood cells? Do you have an extra toe? Or do you have different colored eyes? Heterochromia. Magnolia.
I think it's the first one. I think so. Okay, the first one.
Yes, sir?
The first one?
Not the first one. No, heterochromia. Do you have too few red blood cells? Do you have an extra toe? Or do you have different colored eyes?
Different colored eyes?
Different colored eyes. Hetero means different. Chroma means color. That's the way you should have parsed that one. Good comeback. Go green.
Let's get physical for 5 points.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, there is a new animated movie that stars Scorch Supernova. He is escaping from this planet, the third rock from the sun. Magnolia?
Earth.
Earth. Escape from planet Earth. It is. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, in France, sealed up is the international kilogram standard. It's a piece of metal that represents what 1 kilogram weighs. It is protected, but it has 2 thermometers inside. That piece of metal is gaining weight because what liquid metal from the thermometer, Magnolia?
Mercury.
Mercury. A little bit of that is glomming onto its surface and making it weigh a little more than it should. Go red. 80-80. Tie score.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, of all of the chemical elements named for scientists, probably the most famous is element number 99 with the symbol ES. Named for whom? Montpelier.
Named after Einstein.
That's exactly right. It's called Einsteinium. Good answer. Thank you, Nathan, for your assist. Go green.
Zoo parade for 5 points.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, some of you remember the fable of Androcles and the lion? Well, an animal like a lion who has a foot that has a nail or a claw on it is known as a what? Montpelier. Yes, sir.
Retractable.
Not a retractable, no. What do you call that foot that has a nail or a claw on it like a lion has? Magnolia?
We don't know.
A paw. A paw. A lion has a paw. Androcles, remember, pulled the thorn from the lion's paw. Go green.
Let's get physical for 10 points.
Get physical for 10 points. Teams, this transparent ceramic that looks like a solid but is organized like a liquid was the material that Cinderella's slipper was made of. Magnolia?
Glass.
Glass slipper, yeah. Okay, go red.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, because curiosity drilled into the surface of this planet, we now know that it's Magnolia?
Mars.
Mars. We now know that it's grayer than it is red. It's just red on the surface. 100 to 95, almost a tie, 5-point advantage. Red, go Abubakar.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, a very wealthy man has recently given away lots of money to 365 individuals. Montpelier?
Mark Zuckerberg.
No, remember the category. Green things now. This very wealthy man who's given a lot of money to 365 individuals, hoping they will visit communities all around the country to do good, much like a bee visiting a flower to a flower to a flower. So he has called it what kind of project?
Pollination. Pollination.
Pollination project. Absolutely right. Good. Go. Red.
Body systems for 10.
Body system for 10 points. Because when you breathe, you are actually undergoing combustion. Breathing is also known by what other term? Montpelier?
Hyperventilating.
Not hyperventilating, because breathing also involves some combustion. When we breathe, it is also known as what, Abubakar?
Inhaling, exhaling.
Respiration. Respiration is the correct answer. Oh, the buzzer has just rung. We've come to the end of the first round. It's been a good one. Our score right now, Magnolia 115. Montpelier right behind it, 95. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't you go away.
It takes more than perfect balance.
More than a great pair of legs.
More than a good sword.
It takes more than just talent.
More than the will to win.
It takes you.
It takes your donations to support the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams. And now you can donate on Facebook.
He's done it! The U.S. has done it!
Support the U.S. Olympic team on Facebook and donate to make Olympic dreams come true.
Hello, I'm Tom Selleck. In every generation, men and women have come forward to fight for freedom and defend our liberty. Over 58,000 of them are named on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Join me in supporting a new campaign to build an education center near the wall to tell their stories and teach about the values of those who have served in the past and who serve today. Learn how you can help. Thank you.
And welcome back. So very nice to have you here on the Science Bowl today. A very critical game as we come toward the end of our competition season here. Let's go over and meet our competitors. Let's go first to Magnolia. Last year, your school did so well. You got a bye in the first round, so this is your first appearance. Welcome to the show. Abubakar, tell us a little bit about your school. Where is Magnolia?
It's in Lanham.
Yeah, it's over there in Lanham, Maryland, just off Greenbelt Road. And who's your principal?
Miss Gillens.
All right. She's been there for a number of years, and I know she's behind you today. And I know Mr. Robert Allen is your sponsor. He's a great guy. He's been there for a long time. He always sends us great teams. And you have almost 2 shadow teams out there. You've got 5 backups out there. What are their first names, Abubakar?
Ryan, Josiah, Jada, Ikedi, and Victoria.
Wonderful. They appreciate you mentioning their names, and we'll bring them out with Mr. Allen in just a few moments. Tell me about Magnolia.
Magnolia is a pretty good school. It has a bunch of nice people there. And, well, I have a lot of friends there, like Malcolm and Taylor, and all the people in Science Bowl.
That's wonderful. What a nice thing to say. So you guys know each other offset here, too, right? And you said a lot of nice people over there. That makes, whether it's work or school, anything in life, you've got nice people, you're going to have a good time. Tell me about yourself. You want to be a computer engineer?
Yes.
And what do you do in your spare time?
I play games and read.
And read. What do you like to read?
Comic books and mythology books.
Very good. All right. And Taylor, nice to have you here. I know you're a reader, and you like mystery stories, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you read them late at night?
No.
No. It's sometimes hard to sleep after you read some of those stories. What do you want to do someday? You want to sing, don't you? Yeah. Why so?
Because I think singing is, I enjoy singing, and like it brings me joy. And I think through music is a way to express yourself.
Certainly is, and I'm sure it brings joy to a lot of people who listen to you sing as well. And you sing in the school chorus, don't you? Yeah, well, we wish you a lot of luck, and nice to have you on the show today. And you're welcome. Malcolm, nice to have you here, a young man who wants to be a meteorologist someday and is fascinated by tornadoes. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, since you've studied tornadoes, you told me earlier that now you know how to keep yourself safe during one. What would you do?
You usually go into the basement and, like, close every door and window. And, like, maybe you could put a barrier in front of the basement door so that it won't so that even if it does flash open, like, nothing bad will really happen.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned about keeping all those windows and doors closed. A lot of people think you're supposed to open them up. That's the exact wrong thing to do. What do you do in your spare time?
I read. Sometimes I'll play games about mythology, and I'll watch YouTube videos about tornadoes.
That's great. All of you seem to like to do the same things. You're all readers, and you're all great students. You keep up your nice work in the second half here. Montpelier, nice to have you guys back again. This is your 3rd appearance on Science Bowl this year. You traditionally have done well. Montpelier has been a past champion. You've won 1 championship in our past 27 years. This could be year number 2. And I know Ms. Clamage, your sponsor, is eagerly hoping that happens. Bella Clamage, a great sponsor. Who's the principal at Montpelier?
Proud Principal Furlow.
Proud Principal Furlow. That's a mouthful, and you got that out. She's a great principal. And tell me about any alternates on your team. Do you have any?
We have one, Katie Godshaw.
Yeah, and Katie will be out in just a few moments. Tell me about Montpelier. What makes it a special place, DJ?
We have the best teachers and best education throughout Maryland.
Wow. Wow, what a claim that is. So you are fortunate to be in a place like that, and the school's lucky to have you, too. DJ, you want to be a baseball player someday, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Third base?
Yeah, third base and pitcher.
All right, and you love the Orioles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you go up to Camden Yards and watch them once in a while?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. What else do you do if you're not playing ball?
I read and play basketball.
Wonderful. All right, scholar athlete there. Nathan, tell us about yourself. You like to bake, you like to cook. You told me you want to go to the University of Alabama. Why Alabama?
Because I'm thinking about playing football, and I like their football team, Alabama.
Wow. Alabama football is pretty important, isn't it? Yeah? Huge deal down there in the state. And you like to bake? You make cookies and cakes and pies. How'd you learn to bake?
My aunt.
Wow. Okay, so she passed along all of her tricks of the trade to you. Harris, nice to have you with us. Tell us about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
I'm a swimmer, and I like to read and play on the computer and play outdoors.
Wonderful. You swim at the Fairland Aquatic Center.
Yes.
Is there a swim team that you swim on?
No.
No, you just like recreational swimming? It's a great sport. I myself like to do that too, so I identify with your love of the sport. Tell me what you want to do someday.
I'd like to be an astronaut, discovering new things.
Yeah. If you could go anywhere in space that you wanted, where would you go?
Black hole.
Oh, a black hole, that's right. Would we ever see you again if you went inside?
I'll discover new ships able to go through and out.
You'll find the way out to the other side. That's great. All right, let's get back to our game. 115 for Magnolia, 95 for Montpelier. All of the tougher questions remain, so put on your thinking caps. Let's go. Red team, start us out. Abubakar?
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, if you're thinking about the temperature scales, what same event occurs at 100 on the Celsius scale and 212 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale? What same event occurs, Montpelier?
The boiling point of water.
You got that right. Water boils at both of those points. Good. Go. Green.
Zoo parade for 20 points.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, there's a new book out called The Unfeathered Bird that shows some birds' skeletons and also some birds' internal organs. There's one bird that has a very deep voice. Turns out that it has a twisted windpipe, which is otherwise known as what T initialed organ? Abubakar.
Trachea.
Trachea, absolutely right. It has a twisted trachea or trachea, and that produces that booming voice. Good answer. Go, Red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, it used to be you could go down to the Smithsonian and watch the Earth rotate by watching the action of this weight that hung from a Montpelier.
A pendulum?
A pendulum, absolutely right. It swung back and forth and knocked over pegs, and it knocked them all over in the course of 24 hours. Sadly, it's not there anymore. We miss it. Go Green. 130, 135. Go.
Science potpourri for 20 points.
Science potpourri for 20 points. Teams, if you were taking part in an experiment and you were taking the placebo, you would be then in what group? Montpelier. What group would you be in?
Chemistry?
No, not chemistry. You're in an experiment. You are being given the placebo, so you are in what group in that experiment?
Plants?
The control group. The control group. Whenever you do a science experiment, there's the test group and the control group. You would be in the control group. Go Green.
Dateline science for 20 points.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, they recently found a 500-year-old skeleton of King Richard in England. They almost have positively identified it. They looked at all of the genes on the X chromosome, but they haven't looked at all of the genes on what other chromosome that determines sex. Montpelier.
The Y chromosome?
The Y chromosome, absolutely right. It is somehow degraded, and their tests are not turning out as definitive as they would like. But we do think it is King Richard. All right, 150 to 135, advantage Green.
Science potpourri for 10 points.
Science potpourri for 10 points. Teams, if you take white light and shine it through a prism, what 7 colors, Montpelier?
The colors of the rainbow.
Which are?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo, / violet.
Plus violet, absolutely right. You got all of them. Roy G. Bibbs. Thank you, Harris, for your assist. Go Green.
Zoo parade for 10 points.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, what same word means the spore-producing area on the underside of a mushroom cap and the respiratory organs of crabs and fish? Magnolia. Yes, sir. Nope, not lungs, Montpelier. The underside of a mushroom cap where the spores are contained. That area has what same name as the respiratory organs of crabs and fish?
Gills?
Gills, absolutely right. Good. Go Green.
Green things for 5 points.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, in the movie Bambi, the skunk had a really unusual name. It is the green plant part that smells good and looks good. Montpelier.
Flower?
The flower, yes. The skunk's name was Flower, even though he was a little stinky. Okay, go Green.
Science potpourri for 5 points.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, Washington Redskins quarterback RG3 wears some really unusual socks. His slogan is there, and he invokes this most precious of stones when he says, no pressure, no what's? Magnolia.
No game?
No. Montpelier, he invokes the most precious of stones in his slogan, no pressure, no whats?
No diamonds.
No diamonds, absolutely right. You got to really press those rocks to make those diamonds. Okay, go green.
Dateline signs for 5 points.
Dateline for 5 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, teams. If Chicken Little were Russian, the sky really was falling. Magnolia.
The meteor exploded.
I would like to pass it on.
Malcolm.
The meteor exploded, and when the meteor fell, it caused like this big sonic boom, which blew out windows.
Absolutely right. Glad it didn't hit anybody. Absolutely. 5 points. Go. Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. In the Maryland legislature, they are debating a bill that would make girls who play lacrosse wear a helmet. Only problem is if you wear a helmet, it can limit your peripheral what? Montpelier.
Vision.
Vision, yes indeed. Hard to see out the side, hard to see what's coming. Green.
Body systems for 5 points.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, you know that Grinch who stole Christmas? He was so nasty because he had cardiac insufficiency. What organ was too? Magnolia?
Heart.
His heart was 2 sizes too small. That's right. Poor thing. Go red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, some people say you should avoid nightshade plants like potatoes and eggplant and tomatoes because people at one time thought they were poisonous. Parts of them are, but the most poisonous plant in that group is tobacco, which produces what substance? Montpelier?
Nicotine.
Nicotine is the poison, absolutely. All right, here's the score. Montpelier, 220. Magnolia, 145. All of the 25-point questions remain. Still anybody's game. Good luck, go green.
Soup Parade for 25 points.
Soup Parade for 25. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. And yes, that is a cuttlefish. That cuttlefish belongs to what C initial class of mollusks? A name. Yes, Montpelier.
Crustaceans.
Not crustaceans, no. That cuttlefish belongs to what C initial class of mollusks? A name that means head, foot.
I would like to pass it on.
Malcolm.
Crayfish?
No. Cephalopods. Cephalo means head, pod means foot. Go green.
Green things for 25 points.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, if you want to order flowers for your mom, you might pick up the phone and call a company called Calyx and Corolla. Calyx is the collective term that means the sepals underneath the flower, and Corolla is the collective term that means these parts of the flower. Magnolia? Yes, sir.
The stomata?
Not the stomata. No. The calyx are the sepals on the underside of the flower, and the corolla is the collective term indicating these parts of the flower.
Spores?
The petals. The petals. The petals and the sepals. Go again, green.
Science potpourri for 25 points.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, thermally heating food to kill bacteria is known by what process, which is named for the man who invented it? Montpelier.
Pasteurization.
Again?
Pasteurization.
You got that right. Louis Pasteur's pasteurization. Good. Green, go.
Let's get physical for 25 points.
Get physical for 25 points. Teams, the country of Iran recently reportedly bought 100,000 rings to put on these spinning devices, these C-initial spinning devices that separate chemicals in the laboratory as they try to make enriched uranium, perhaps for a bomb. What do we call those spinning C-initial instruments? They're called centrifuges. Montpelier again.
Dateline science for 25 points.
Dateline for 25 points. Think carefully. Think carefully. It was back in 1862 that a German astronomer came up with the explanation, if there are so many stars in the sky at night, why is it dark? He explained the reason why. Why is it dark at night, even though we have all those stars in the heavens?
The sun went to the other side of the planet.
No, Montpelier. We've got all of those stars up there. Why is it dark down here?
Because the stars are too far away.
And
the moon reflects light from the sun, so it outshines the stars.
The judges are giving you credit. Yes, the distance the stars are from us is a critical factor. The light has not reached us as yet. It is that far away. All right, one question left. It is the 25-point question in the body systems category. Teams, your question is as follows. If a child suffers from juvenile idiopathic arthritis, that child has a problem with what body parts? Montpelier?
Their joints.
Their joints, absolutely. With that, we come to the end of our game. Give yourselves a hand. Good round, everybody. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away.
Hello? Hello? I've been on the street for a while. I saw your poster outside. I don't know what to do.
National Runaway Switchboard, how can I help? Call 1-800-RUNAWAY to make the connection.
Welcome back, and of course, the reason why these teams are here today at the end of our season is because they are so good. You just witnessed a wonderful game here today, and we're proud of all of our players. Our final tally today is Magnolia 145, Montpelier 295. Congratulations, DJ and Harris and Nathan. You are going on to the next step in our competition. Katie is happy over there, and Miss Clamage, congratulations, and we like your Science Bowl shirts too. Magnolia, let me see those big smiles I know you've got. You played a super game, Malcolm and Abubakar and Taylor. I loved how you worked together. And look at those shadow teams back there, almost two of them. Wave as I call your name, Makedi, Ryan, Jada, Josiah, Victoria, and the wonderful Mr. Allen. You always send us great young people. Always nice to have Magnolia here, and always nice to have you with us. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye.